Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is a full moon segment in our Soul and Luna cycling. And here the full moon will be at its full throttle moment around 6:08 p.m. on the northern hemisphere on the west coast. And for all of you that are experiencing at the same time, but in a different locale, you will be feeling it. It was really beautiful last night, and it'll just be as beautiful this evening. So as I've mentioned, this is that moment when we have a full moon to take action, and or if the full moon jostles your system kind of emotionally, your nervous system, any of that, it's a good time just to ground down, create space to do less versus more, because this is a phonetic time. There's extra energy being received from that bright moon. And again, no matter how you feel about it, there's extra energy coming in, and it's most important that you always take care of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs, because then you could be a better service to the world around you. So with that being said, I want to welcome you to also really evaluate what was being shown to you a couple weeks ago, and even into that last lunation cycle, which was quite powerful for most beings. And as we entered into this new moon, there was a lot of a sense around reconciliation and remembering and just leaning into that possible. And still with this full moon, it feels really about sweeping. And I use this term a lot with my clients and students, that if there are energies that are still there, because when we do healing, transformation, and growth, there will ultimately be different things that come up in your bed, your flower bed, if you will, that need to be turned, or they need to be pulled out, just to keep the soil as fertile as possible to continue growing and thriving. And since collectively as a humanity, we are at this point where we're really having to make these decisions because we've been bound into a system that is not for the benefit of all. It's for the benefit of a few. And so the cool thing, if you want to look at it this way, is that we're entering into an era where there's this world system is that way. It is for the benefit of all, not a few. And as we go into this era of mastery, and for those that are willing and ready to practice things like generosity, to really hone their spiritual skills, to really get out of the mindset of hoarding and having to keep things for self, for that, because the self is going to need it, and not to think about your brothers and sisters that might need things, people, places, and things, connections. It's not always about monetary things. It's just that when we act in generosity through the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual acts, it is quite profound, and it ripples. It is the most I find it not the most. It's the fastest building return on your investment that you'll ever see. And if you've ever done where you bought a cup of coffee, or you've paid for people's tolls behind you, these are simple examples. You can feel the energy build, and it'll keep going. And I think some coffee shops have noticed for how many hours it keeps going, where the person in front buys the person in back, and they keep passing along the good deed. This is what is powerful about generosity, is it has a huge ripple and a huge return on investment, because it's just not going to necessarily come back on, your bank account in the way you would think, but it'll come back in your cosmic bank account, and the ripple that it has through society is really beautiful. So as we move out of this phase of the person or place or thing, or the idea of it, the concept of a society that we have to keep everyone enslaved to someone, something, to relationships, to businesses, and all that, that we move from a really abundant mindset, because that's what our ecosystem is designed. Even though they try to put in the programming that the world's ending, that Mother Earth is sick, the only thing that's really sick in our ecosystem really is the human mind. So if we get that right, everything's going to be fine, because Mother Earth regenerates. This system is designed that way and is a strong system, and it's not changing. We saw a lot of that during the brouhaha, how quickly she regenerated when everyone stayed inside for a little bit. And this isn't to say that we need to stay inside. It's just we need to learn to be respectful of our ecosystem and of each other. And so when the mind starts to heal and become in a state where it wants to resonate at a place where it's not dualistic, where it's not judgmental, where it's not this push-pull or wanting to be in control of someone or something, then there's a lot more freedom, and it's much easier, effortless for the collective society to be in a resonance of mastery together. It's when we start getting a little greedy, all those kinds of things, that we forget the power of generosity. I'll leave it at that. That's the remedy to greed. And I'm not talking about every human on the planet that right now I would say has been really entrenched in something that we didn't really agree to. I didn't agree to when I came into this planet. And so when I say that greed, it's not speaking to, I don't want you to go around and looking at your brother or sister or your fellow human, that they're being greedy. It's really, I'm talking about the people that have enslaved, the beings that have enslaved humanity. And this is that time. So the remedy is generosity, and it's not just generosity between humanity, but it's also just generosity even against those forces. It's like you put a tidal wave of generosity back towards the energies that want to enslave. It has a really powerful impact. So how you can help in this moment with the full moon is really do some clearing and sweeping, and that's tilling the soil, really making sure that you are working with what you need and only what you need. You don't need to have all this extra stuff in your soil. And in fact, if you put too many things in your soil, you'll notice that maybe they won't grow, or it's just not the season to grow. So as you're going through the remainder of this lunar cycle, you'll be continuing to reconcile and remembering and sweeping, clearing out, clear. This creates the space to receive what's incoming. And then there's this element that if you can really attune to what it means to be generous, not, like I said, not only with the granular, material, that's how people relate to it, but really, how can you be generous with yourself first and then others? Because this happens a lot. This is a nuance, especially if you're a parent out there, you might be able to relate to this, that you have become accustomed to sacrificing for your children so that they can have what they need. And this is we see this in nature. And so it's important, though, to bring that into balance, that everyone's taken care of, and to remove that idea or that program in your mind that you have to sacrifice. There's no need to sacrifice. That's one thing that we are sweeping out of this new moment, because the fear doesn't belong. And so in all these people, places, and things that really rely on sacrifices, that actually doesn't belong in the society that is well underway and it's built. So that goes to all things from theological to all these different practices where one is asked to sacrifice, and or anything is sacrifice. These practices will be completely removed from our society. It's going into a place of offering, a very pure offering, something that does not cause harm, but will only help in the regeneration process. Again, listen to that closely. We're going into a phase where it will be offering, and that offering is something that will help in the regeneration process in this ecosystem. So for example, if you were to make a water offering to the earth, that would help in the regeneration process. So you will see people start coming into action of really what is the process of keeping things in harmony. And all these ideas of violent acts and fear-based control will be removed. And then you think of it as this reciprocal regenerative process that will keep us in harmony. And then what that does is that removes that fear. It sweeps fear out. It sweeps control out. It really creates a whole new boat of possibility. And for those that are out there and thrive on controlling because their mind is not right, this is a moment for those individuals to seek some deep, deep psycho-spiritual therapy, because you will be the last one in line, not the first one. And anyone out there that's in the general humanity, if you know where you're faking it to make it in your current circumstance, this is a time to drop that mask, throw it away, recycle it, whatever it is, get rid of it, and really get clear where you are focusing. Just because you learned something from a circumstance one time versus having a day in and out practice with something maybe millions of times, those are different knowledge sets and wisdom sets. And so as we go out of this information age, the saturation of a lot of faking it till you make it information age, into mastery, it'll be, we have the amazing shoemaker over here that's made thousands and thousands of pairs of shoes, and he's the person you want to learn from. We're going to the person, the horticulturist that knows the plants that can create a system in one's yard or land that can thrive for generations to come. It's this type of mastery, and the people that have the experience in certain areas and have been accumulating not only in this lifetime, but other lifetimes, this will be their moment to really continue to step up. And those of you, like I said, are out there that have decided, to take personas on. You like this dress for today and that dress for tomorrow. It's time to put that all down and get really clear. Sweep out the area, get really clear where you want to place your attention. There is a deep need for everyone to really pay attention to what field they're watering. For many, they've been watering it for several decades. And if that's you, keep going. Even though if you've been meeting adversity, keep going. That's part of the process. For those of you that have adopted things quickly, especially during the brouhaha, be very careful. As I mentioned a couple of broadcasts, maybe the last one or the one before, the trickster's near. So people that are quick to adopt things and implement things because they just learned it and they're like, this is it. That doesn't necessarily give you a lot of valid information unless you've applied that information over and over again and understand what the net result will be. And then over time, let's say I'll use architectural detail, for example. There are certain architectural details if you're in certain types of construction that are standard. So you could keep putting that on your plans and not even think about it. And then it would be maybe the contractor that's building that detail. They get really used to it. Maybe they get a little lazy with it. And sure enough, maybe over time, something gets omitted and it causes a problem. So when we enter into an age of mastery, there's the attention to the detail every single time as if it was brand new. So that detail that might feel standard, you hear the rinse and repeat. There's the same attention towards that every single time to make sure that nothing's omitted because it could cause harm. And we could bring this like that. You could say, yeah, that's a building that could cause harm. But the same thing could happen even with the shoemaker. They could get so used to it, they get almost lazy, and then the sole of the shoe falls off and the person trips and hurts themselves. The presence and awareness and the responsibility towards what you're doing is going to be so important to help you reach these higher states of consciousness and mastery. So get clear. And that's why I want you to get those brooms out and sweep away and get very clear where you want to push your attention. And the old programs that you have been fed by your family unit, by your friends, all those things, the ones that like box you in and really hold you there, just sweep those out, throw them out, recycle them, give them away, just recycle them. have a bonfire, beach bonfire. But it's time to get those out and get focused, and you're going to feel really good about this process. And so now it's interesting that we're at this juncture where there's a high level of inability to focus. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, collectively, our human consciousness was put through a huge test. And that test caused fight or flight. It caused post-traumatic stress disorder, which caused an inability to focus. And so if you are ready to really hone in on what you want to focus in, that will help rebuild it. When someone's coming out of PTSD, it's important that they meet something and focus on it daily to repair the damage that's been done to the brain. And the brain will repair. But it takes the willingness to do that and the simplification. This is why mastery is based on simplification of the application of where you are destined to focus your attention. You're not going to be able to do it all. So really understand what your capacity is and meet yourself there. Believe me, I would vote for a perceptual 36-hour day. Even though time doesn't exist, I would vote for it because I love what I do. I like to do as much as I can each day and be of service. So it's like that. You want to feel passionate and excited about what you have to offer and ready to move forward that way. So, and before we go into our meditation, the other thing that I feel that's really important to mention here is that as we're going through this process collectively, I've mentioned this before and I'm going to mention it again. It takes the willingness of many people to put down their masks, the pretender masks. And then the other part is that it takes a willingness to see, hear, and understand what the truth is. And that's where you welcome humility in. We have all that are living here through this period been manipulated, lied to, and are coming out in different phases of understanding what the lie is or what the truth is. The only truth that you're ever going to really know is your truth and your interaction with reality. And so in this process, you will continue to have to make choices to help transform the system. So let's say some of you out there are fully awake to the best of your ability in this moment. We'll say that, you pretty much have a good pulse on how this overlay of an ecosystem is operating on this beautiful organic system. But you're still required to participate in the inorganic system. You will continue to be asked to make decisions to help transform us out of the inorganic system. And so that's really important to think about and to have the courage to do that bit by bit. As that happens, the system will adapt because that's how these things work. The tides shift. And for those of you that are maybe mid-awake or not awake at all, and you're like, what is she talking about being awake? As you go through that process, understand that there's a humbling point because it's like, whoa, like, wow. And once you see something, it's really hard to unsee it. The trick that was laid on all of humanity was blind faith and a manipulation based on these constructs that were imposed upon us. So as you see the truth, then you start having to decide, well, what decisions, what choices am I going to make to help with the collective shift from the inorganic system to the organic system. Inorganic is an example of that is this device that I'm talking on with wires, and they call it the black box. That's the inorganic system that attempts to confine consciousness to a construct that makes it fixed, a fixed point, and they keep moving the post wherever they want. But that's not how the universe works. That's not how consciousness works. Nothing is fixed. Nothing's absolute. Nothing is binary in the organic system. So that's where you have to start to decide, okay, what am I going to do? And get inventive. Activate your imagination. Think it through to a point where you're like, how will this make things ripple and thrive? And that brings us back to that generosity point. When you move to that thriving place, you have this ability to be like, wow, I get to do this. And that's going to like create more ripples over here. And so bit by bit, you'll see how you can move your bales of hay, I'll leave it as that metaphor, in a way that can help the collective rather than feeding into an inorganic system that it draws down versus ripples up and out. All right, with that being said, let's dive into our meditation. And I welcome you into an upright seated position, dropping the shoulders down, a soft gaze down in front, and taking a nice gentle breath in. And then exhaling out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Another one, inhale. And exhale. Good. And as you continue to breathe in and out, welcome you to just follow your natural breathing pattern as your focal point, and a soft gaze as a focal point, inward or outward.
It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot seen, it is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard, it is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling.
And gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern.
Adono aniveyai adeye aniram Ado aniyai Ado aniram Ado ahiyai adeye ahum Ado ahiyaram adeye ahayi adeye ahayi
Taking a soft, gentle breath in and out of your heart center. Gently bringing your awareness back to here. And so, as you're ready, when you're ready, come up to a seated position. And then from there, we'll welcome you to bring in a full body breath just to elevate the energy up through the spine into your mind and to your skull. And just taking a few moments to give gratitude for all aspects of yourself and for taking the time and the space, I should say, to be here now, to nourish self is really beautiful. And so as you move into next, you might just be and reflect and really get clear as to how you want to sweep and where you want to sweep and where you want to focus. This is a beautiful time to anchor that in and to continue to reconcile and remember and rediscover your true north. It's really magical. So I'm in full support as you realize maybe some of the masks you don't need to wear anymore and compost those away. That is a beautiful, generous act to really help rebuild our consciousness and this beautiful ecosystem that we all get to participate in. And as we continue to flow into the next, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here in this moment. I also want to thank Kadri Scott, Random Rab, and Dante Marino for your contributions in different ways to this segment. And we're going to exit out. We're going to keep this exit out really simple this week with Kadri Scott and her song Fields of Flowers. And I want to thank you by really saying from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate the people that check in here and take the time in whatever shape or form they decide to do that. It's really an honor, and I hope it nourishes you deeply. Until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, a deep bow, and a namaste. Be simply.
The way your eyes feel on me makes me feel alright. And the way your mind dreams for me grabs me and holds me tight. So we dance along the Milky Way and stars. and holds me tight.